Pretty big responsibility, being the light of the world. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed by that? How are we supposed to shine our light and brighten up the world? Do you ever have a day where you feel like your light is just a little dim? Maybe a little bit like a pilot light, more than a great big bonfire? I know, I do. But that's part of what we need to figure out today, is if we think that our job is to shine our light, we could be misled because that's too big a job for a human being. It's not my light that I have to shine. It's God's light. So, if we're told that you and I are the light of the world, we need to figure out exactly what that means, because the truth is, we're not exactly a light, we're more like a lamp. I recently discovered a website called Lamps Plus. Every kind of lamp you can imagine is there. Pole lamps, pendant lamps, table lamps, night lights, everything you can imagine. And that's a lot like us. We human beings are like those lamps, and we come in all shapes and sizes. We have all different sorts of styles and colors. Some of us may be pole lamps, others of us are table lamps. Since all the Christmas cookies I ate in December, I feel a little more like a jug lamp. I'd like to be a pole lamp. We'll see if I can get there. But that's a good example because it doesn't really matter what your shape, your color, your style, your design is. The job of a lamp is to shine the light. You may have a beautiful lamp that you picked out of a catalog that just looks perfect in your decor, but if it doesn't shine light when you turn it on, it's not doing its job. One way to look at this is that God has wired the whole universe for electricity, and human beings are the lamps. We are the ones who are meant to shine the light. But to do it, we have to stay plugged in. If we let ourselves get disconnected, we can't do what we were designed to do. And no matter how beautiful, no matter how stylish, no matter how nice our shade is, it doesn't matter. Our job is to shine light. We spend a lot of our lives focusing on the lamp itself, when what we're meant to do is focus on what lamps do and work on shining. A lot of times we can't tell how brightly a person was shining until we look at their life in retrospect. We have often funerals in this church. This week we had a funeral for John's mom, Irene Hazelton, a wonderful woman who so many of you know because you went to Coxsackie Athens School. And it was very clear to see how much light she had in her life. It was beautiful to look back at her life and see all of the light. That first reading that we had today from Isaiah, share your bread with the hungry, give clothing to the naked, be a friend to the oppressed. That reading is often chosen for funerals for people who have shown their light. It's often chosen. Isaiah 25, people often turn to it. Oh, what a beautiful reading. And they'll say, that's my mom. They'll hear that reading and they'll say, that's my dad. That's my uncle. That was him. He was always doing good for others. You know something that you never hear at a funeral? I liked him so much. He was so rich. Oh, he had so much money. I loved that about him. Or you also don't hear too much about people's physical appearance. Oh, she was just, woo. You don't hear that at a funeral. That's not what we're focused on, because you know what that is? That's the lamp. That's the lamp. And at a funeral, we're looking at the bigger picture. We're looking for the light that's shining. No one is impressed with our lamp when our life is over. They're impressed with the light that we were shining. Which is tricky for us, because most of us are tricked by our culture into focusing on the lamp, getting a new shade, making sure that we're on the tallest, most prominent table in the living room. We're always working on building our resume. But those things are all connected to the lamp. A better task would be for us to work on having a fantastic obituary, because that is where we focus on the light. There are a lot of us in this world who are beautiful to look at or have an impressive resume, but over time we let ourselves get unplugged. And no matter how glitzy our veneer is, no matter how beautiful the lamp is, maybe it can refract a little bit of light just because it's so shiny or so beautiful. But if it's unplugged, it can't shine. So our job is to figure out, how do we stay plugged in? Your being here today is obviously a sign that this is important to you. You're invested in this. You want to stay plugged in. So let's ask ourselves, how am I doing at shining my light? Am I shining brightly? Do I have good deeds that are illuminated, as it says in the gospel? Let your light shine so that all may see the good things that you do. Are we shining that light? And do we have deeds to illuminate? Are we the kind of person that after we went through the checkout line at Tops or at Family Dollar or wherever else, would the cashier say, "Oh, I don't know who that woman is, but boy, do I love being around her. I don't know who that guy is, but wow, what a nice guy." Do we shine our light on cashiers and service workers? Do the people who serve us at Paul's or Red's feel, "I don't know who that is, but wow, that's a person I'd like to know"? There are times that we feel like we can't shine our light, but it's not true. If we're plugged in, we always have light to shine. Many people know the famous American saint, Elizabeth Ann Seton. She was the first American saint, and she did so much. Her resume is pretty impressive, actually. What a lamp. She started the first Catholic school for girls in the country. She started an order of nuns. She did so much, but she lived a long life, so she spent quite a few years elderly and pretty incapacitated. During that time, she couldn't do that much, and somebody once asked her, "Elizabeth Ann Seton, what do you think God is calling you to do right now?" And she said, "Right now, my call is to sit in a chair like a little old lady and dole out smiles." Her job was to serve up smiles as people went by, and that was enough. She was plugged in. She was sharing her light. I may wish that I had a nicer shade. I may wish that my base wasn't so saggy, but none of that really matters. The condition of our lamp is going to change over time anyway. What matters is how we share that light. So let us resolve to go forth from here and love God exactly the way that God loves best, by shining our light.